Hi, welcome back to Box Delights. Today I'm going to be giving you a preview of an upcoming Kickstarter, Too Many Bones. It's a dice building role-playing game. Produced by the makers of my #1 solitaire game Hoplon Marcus, the game promises much and beautiful components as we expect from Chip Theory games. We have the familiar neoprene mats. This is a lot of prototype here, so this board, for example, should be neoprene as well. The dice are obviously just custom prototype dice. You're going to have a whole stack of these, and of course chips that we're familiar with. These are some bad guys you'll be facing. In true Tolkien fashion, there's trouble brewing in the north. Our peoples, the Gearlocks, have retreated south. Our elders are now going to send a group of us adventurers, and the game plays 1 to 4, a group of adventurers north to take on these tyrants. We've got lots of different bosses that we can take on. I've only got a couple here in the prototype, but there's going to be a stack of these. There's more treasures, loot and encounters. What's neat about this design is it'll feel like a role-playing game. These encounters will give you choices, like a story. Obviously this is going to be a much bigger deck. I've just got a short deck here for the demo. So you're going to be playing as adventurers. You're going to be leveling up just like adventurers. You're going to have stats just like you would in an RPG. And you're going to use dice. But the dice here, or the pool of dice available to you, is going to be changing from turn to turn. And as your character progresses, the game will start by throwing small encounters, little enemies to defeat, and then obviously as you build up and the adventure reaches a climax, you're going to be reaching these bosses. And the decisions you make here will influence, how difficult the game will be and what rewards you might get. And alongside that, which dice you choose, which upgrade paths you choose to take, will be different depending on the player. Each time you play the same character, the encounters you meet, so on. These Gearlocks they're kind of like gnome-like, goblin-like creatures. So a true fantasy setting. These types of characters are kind of tinkerers. They like meddling with machines, but equally have a synergy with nature, living in the woods, in the deep wood as they do. I'm going to set up a solitaire adventure, but I'm going to choose to play 2 characters, Band-Aid and Boomer. Each character comes with its own player reference to give you all the stats about the different skills, the different dice. What I want to do here is just demo that gameplay and show you how we've got something very new and unique, just like they delivered with Hoplon Marcus. These are the chips we're going to use to represent our adventurers and where they are in the party. It's going to take 2. This shows you if I just take these, the makeup of your party. Right, who's standing next to whom, who's at the front line and who's on the back line. Okay? And we've got slots here for the dice and then slots here for enemies you're facing. Again, who's at the front and who's at the back. Okay? We'll also need some health chips, some generic health chips. These are Chip Theory games. Standard set, you can get some deluxe ones I use for Hoplo, nice weightier ones. Boomer starts with 3 health, Band-Aid starts with 5. We can boost these. Next we should draw a tyrant. This is going to be the boss that we're fighting. And we have the Goblin King. This is important to us during setup because we have a couple of stats here. That tells you how many encounters you have to successfully complete, and this is the number of days we have to do it. So you've got some excess days you can spend resting, and resting's good in this game. It's not just do nothing. There's stuff you can do when you're resting. You can search for loot, heal up, that kind of stuff. So it kind of gives you a scale of how the game's going to flow, and it also gives you an idea of the game length. The Goblin King is unpredictable in nature, and he's held authority of the Balon region through sheer terror. His followers are extremely loyal, and no one dares fall out of line. We've got 12 days, so I'm going to use 12 chips to track the day count. Now we're ready to start talking dice. Each of your characters has a nice little background story. It just tells you all about the type of character she is. And also a difficulty rating. For example, Solitaire, she's quite difficult to play on her own. But in co-op she's a little easier. She synergizes well with other characters. Being a ranger, you can imagine that kind of thing. She's a throw first, talk later kind of gal. Boomer's good at finding the parts she needs to construct handcrafted devastation, it says. Boomer starts the game with all 4 scavenger profession dice available to her. This is the skills here, these are the dice skills. Okay, and they go in a kind of a tree-like progression, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's no progression here. There's progression here. See these arrows? So this one is the ancestor of that one. So you need to get this one first before you can get this one. There's no arrows here, and in fact the scavenger ability says she starts with all 4 of those dice. They're colour-coded, and they're on the reference. So they're numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we just slot these in. These dice are available to her. These dice together help you build a grenade. So this is the first one you need to build. Is the base, then the casing, then the fuse, and then finally a counter for how many grenades you've made. The sides that are face up don't matter. These are just dice that you can pick up and roll. But this one says there's a counter, so it's going to start at 0. It's a record of how many grenades we've built. And then we can take some skill bonuses. So we can boost up our health, dexterity, attack, defense, and we can take up to 2 of these dice skills, a maximum of 2, and a total of 4 to start the game. So we could put 4 in here, we could put 2 in here, 2 in here, 1 in here, 3 in here. All right. The dexterity is already quite high. This is the number of dice she gets to roll. I think I might boost up her health and her attacking. So I just take 2d6 and put a 1 in each of those slots. And then in terms of skills, so we've already got all the scavenger. We've got grenadier, utility bomber, keen eye, and consumables. They're all colour coded once more. So we've got the red, the blue, orange, and yellow. And that's corresponding to these dice. Yeah, I think we're going to take the frag base, which is the number 5 red. This one that corresponds to what we see here. So that die is available to us now, number 5. And I can take one more, and I think I'm going to take the body search. Incidentally, these stars, these are the things that you can take to start with. So we've got the stunner base here, flashbang base. Actually, that one's quite nice. No, we'll stick with frag, and I think we'll take body search. This will allow us to search fallen enemies for needed components. So that's number 13, and we'll lock that one in as well. Okay, that's Boomer's set. Band-Aid, he's kind of a healer, so his innate is to heal self 1, so he's going to be able to keep himself strong. Doesn't roll many dice, so let's boost up his dexterity first. There's my 1, and we'll boost up his defense as well. In fact, we may boost up his attack. Let's do that, and then we'll start with 1 basic skill. I think it's going to be, what have we got? Medkit base, first healing die, a no-brainer starter. Okay, so there's a little bit of advice on here as to what to go for. Yeah, we're going to go for that. So red number 1. Remember, there's going to be a lot more dice here in the final game. I've just got enough to keep my two characters in play. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go. Our Boomer needs to take her extra 1 health from that die. And yeah, let's start the game. Incidentally, with these dice skills or progression, You're not going to fill these things up, so there's lots of replayability in here, depending on who you're teaming up with, what synergies you can find. You're going to choose different routes around this thing. Probably half this stuff will be filled up. We'll explain some of the other stuff as we get into play. But let's kick off with our first encounter. Encounter phase first. We're leaving the safety of the deep wood and setting out on our first day of travel. As you round the bend, an arrow flies over your left ear. Ahead of you stands a wall of enemies ready and waiting. It's going to take a lot of brute force to get through this blockade. And now we're presented with a choice. Oftentimes these choices will give you different rewards. These are blank, so that means the reward's going to be, well, nothing extra special, nothing different between these two. But the text here will just influence what we need to do to succeed at this encounter and earn the 1 point objective. Remember, we're looking for 8 objective points before we can face the Goblin King. We do each get a loot if we successfully complete this encounter. So here's our choice. We can either do a frontline charge or we can hit them from a distance. But I'm not sure what's going to be out there in the back row. We haven't seen the makeup of the enemy. We've got to make a quick decision before we can decide. The battle phase is coming next, you see, and then we're going to have to fight some enemies, so every day is like a sequence of encounter battle. Let's choose to do a frontline charge. Let's eliminate the whole front row before targeting the back. We've made our decision. Let's move to the battle phase. The reward here is only going to come in if and when we succeed in this battle. Now everything's going to scale here, and the scaling is based on the number of people in our party and which day we're on. So as the game progresses, the enemy, as we get deeper and deeper out of our home territory, is going to get stronger. There's also different encounter difficulties. So there's going to come a point when you cross the river out of your homeland and a different deck of perhaps stronger encounters may come out. Okay, so how do we scale? What we do is take a number of heroes in our party, 2. We multiply by what day we're on, 1. And that's the enemy points that we take. Okay, if we had, this is your battle points. So we've got battle points of 2. If we had, say, battle points of 12, then we would start taking the higher numbered enemies until we've taken the 12. So that would mean 2 5s and 2 1s. Okay, if it was 26, say, we'd have to take a 20, a 5 and then a 1. We got 2 battle points, that's just 2 1s. And we're going to place them number 1 and then number 2. Whether they go in the back or the front depends on whether they're melee or ranged enemies. Let's take a look. So we're facing a dragon whelp and a bog pole. Let's give them their starting health 3 and 2. Both these enemies are ranged. Next we grab their initiative. So we've got the green and the red enemies. We grab the green and the red initiative dice. The enemy's initiative is fixed. This smaller number here is a number 6. So he's going to start with initiative 6. And the bog pole has initiative 3. There's also a round die to see what battle round we're in. So higher numbers go to the top, they have the higher initiative. And then we've got our own dice, initiative die, 1 for Boomer, 1 for Band-Aid. We're going to give these a roll, and that will determine our initiative. So it's 5 for Band-Aid, so he's going to slot in the order here. And then 2 for Boomer, she's going to go last. The good news for us is this frontline charge, we had to eliminate, so these should be in the back row, we had to eliminate the whole front row first, but you'll notice there is no front row, so that was a good choice. We don't have to suffer any penalties there. So round 1, the green enemy first. Incidentally, these rounds, if we get all the way up to round 6, there's a blood droplet here. What that means is if we're still in the battle, because we're so fatigued, the battle's been going on, everyone, us, enemies and Gearlog, will be taking 1 damage each round from then on. Okay? One attack and one defense on the pool. Defense have shields, attack have swords. Weaken's pretty mean. He's got weaken 1. What that means is on a successful attack, the enemy that's attacked, which is going to be, these are ranged enemies, they always attack the back row. Okay, melees always attack the front row. So they're attacking Boomer. If this attack is successful, then Weaken is going to reduce temporarily Boomer's dexterity. She's going to be able to roll 1 less die. Let's give him a roll. Wow, 2 misses. Could have asked for a better start. I'm very happy with that. And now Band-Aid's going to go next. Incidentally, if we were both in the same row, then enemies would go for the weakest unit. For now, let's see what Band-Aid can do. Band-Aid has a dexterity of 3, so he's going to get to roll 3 dice. We've got an attack of 2, so we could roll up to 2 attack dice. Defense of 2, we could roll up to 2 defense dice. And because we're melee, we have to target someone in the frontmost row. There isn't a front row; they're both at the back. So that means we can kind of march forwards a bit, if you like. Okay, so we can attack these, and we really want to go for this bogpole. He's only got a strength of 2, health of 2, and that poison I don't like the look of. So I want to try and get him out if I can. So I'm definitely going to use 2 attack dice. I could also use these. Okay, so I can roll these as part of my 3 dice. But that's for healing, so I don't want to roll that just yet. So I'm going to take 2 attack and 1 defense. Those are my 3. We'll give him a roll. The good news is, because we're going first, he's not been able to, he's not had the opportunity to put up any defense yet. Some nice attack numbers. We haven't been able to put up any defense. That's a miss. Okay, otherwise we could have a shield. We've got 3 attack. And the shields that we roll would have gone here, but it was a miss, which isn't going to do anything. We do have this backup plan that you can put misses into. So if I rolled 2 misses, I could have put them in here for a heal 1. That damage is going to hit straight away, and we're going to take down 3 damage. She's only got 2 health. We're going to take down that bogpole. Now I've got to think carefully here. These dice are available again. Remember, I got my 3 dice. But do I really want to commit that defense die to my backup plan? I don't think I do. I've got enough healing going on. So I'm just going to make that die available again for the next round. And that concludes. So next we would go to him. He's eliminated, so that's removed. And now Boomer is next. Boomer gets 4 dice. And I'd quite like to roll some of these to get some components. Another way to get components is to use my body search. We have a dead enemy now, so I could use this as one of my rolls. I can't use the frag yet. The frag has some requirements. This icon here, see the frag says I need 1 casing. Okay, 1 casing, which I found with my casings die. This one here. So I might roll that. I do want some defense and a bit of attack. My enemy has 4 health. So with only 2 attack, that's going to be pretty tough. There's only 1, 2 on here. And 1 miss. There's 2. So I might put up some defense with my 4th die. Yeah, let's roll these 4. Alright, our attack missed. But I can put that in my backup plan. I'll show you that in a second. I've got 1 defense. So your defense, they go in this reactive chain spot. Backup plan dice in my backup plan. These are always misses. Okay, now if I can pump these up, 1 miss gives me 1 damage. I might use it 2 search again. 3 is a knockback ability. 3 damage if I get 4 misses in here. And concussion and hide. So there's lots of different effects that even these misses can fuel. I've got 1 casing. This goes in your hold equip area, assuming I want to keep it. I don't have to keep it. And then I was really fortunate because I found a bomb, a grenade rather. It's a count of 1, so that puts my grenade count up to 1. And this die, like any of the skill dice, can only be used once per battle. Okay, so this goes over here. There's a line here that says exhausted dice, and these are going to get recovered later. So that's it, that dice is gone. I can't do another body search, but the good news is that I've got 1 counter here, which means I can then, on a subsequent turn, use my frag grenade. Remember, the other way to get these up is to build the components, right? 1, 2, 3. Use those to build one of those. So I'm going to put that in my held equipped area. I can't use that die again, obviously it's stuck up there. The 2 defense I'm putting here, I'm locking it in. It's going to reduce the number of defense dice available to me. Likewise, this one here is reducing the amount of attack dice available to me. So although my dexterity is 4, that means I can roll 4 dice. I've got a maximum of 2 attack dice, one's here. 2 defense dice, one's here. So of course what that means is I've only got 1 attack die and 1 defense die left of my 4. Okay, so next time I can only roll 1 attack, 1 defense. As it goes, I'm going to use this one straight away and do 1 damage. Let's take him down to 2 health. And we've reached the end of round 1, so we move into round 2. With the dragon whelp to go. Let's roll. He's got 1 attack and 1 defense. Oh, and this time we didn't get so lucky. He's got himself 2 defense, so that's going to lock in here. And he's done 1 attack. Remember, he's attacking the back line, so he's attacking Boomer. So that 1 damage is going to get soaked up by this shield die here. Because of a successful hit, the weaken takes effect as well. So we take 1 of these dice and apply that effect to our hero. As it goes, I'm pretty pleased with the way things are going. That's not too bad. Okay, Band-Aid next. This Dragon Whelp's only got 2 health left, so I'm definitely going to go to attack. I don't need a defense, so yeah, 2 attack, 1 defense. Nice and easy. And what have we got? I'm going to lock in my defense. I may or may not use that. We've only got 1 attack. I'm not going to use that, but of course that's going to just reduce his defense down by 1. He's soaked it up. Okay, Boomer, let's see what you can do. We've only got dexterity of 3 because of this, which now I can discard. So for my 3, I'm going to roll these 2. What shall I roll? 2 attack. Let's roll 2 attack. And 1 of these. Let's go for the base element. Okay, that's my 3 dice. 2 attack is good, so that's going to take 1 shield away. Still doesn't kill him. And then I've got 2 elements. I'm keeping those. Alright, we're into round 3. So he's attacking again. 1 attack, 1 defense. No hits, but he's got a shield. Okay, no successful attack, so we don't suffer the weaken this time. Let's see what Band-Aid's going to do. We've got 3 dice. Let's go for all out attack. 2 attack, 1 defense, I guess. Alright, those were the numbers we were looking for. I don't need to lock that in. I've got 2 attack. That's going to take him down. Job done. That is a good result. Okay. These clear. Anything in the reactive chain will clear. These dice will be available to us next time. These can stay. We could exhaust them during that battle if we wanted to get them back in here, but no, I'm going to keep them here. These get reset. Doesn't matter which face is up. Remember, these aren't counters. That's a counter. That matters. These can come off. This will get reset to round 1, ready for the next battle. And then it's time to take some rewards. So we each get 1 loot, and we've got 1 progress towards our main encounter. Put these under, actually we'll switch those around. Let's put that under here. Let's grab our loot, 1 for Boomer, 1 for Band-Aid. And he's gotten a poison dart. We can add 1 poison dart die to a hold slot or to your skill. And it says it's usable by Band-Aid. So if Boomer had picked this one up, what she'd probably want to do is, during the resting turn, you can trade this stuff as it goes. Boomer can pick this up and place it here. You can discard this card. Pretty good, huh? And Boomer gets Rusty Optics. Incidentally, the artwork here is just placeholder. This is, I think, what Josh took some artwork from an old PC game called Arcanum and just used it on there. So yeah, this is just prototype placeholder stuff. Okay, increase your initiative roll by 2. Discard after use. So this is an object, a piece of loot that I can hold on to and Boomer can use. Okay. As well as our loot, we also get to skill up. And this is how you level your stuff up, right? After every battle. You get 2 upgrades. It can be 2 stats or 1 stat, 1 skill. So for Boomer, I'm going to increase her dexterity. I like the idea of having more of these dice to roll. I'm okay with that. I might increase my attack. No, I'm going to go for something more defensive over here. I think I'm going to go for the smoke screen. That's number 7. That'll make the target harder to hit, so we can lay down a defensive cover. Okay, that's number 7. And for Band-Aid, I want to increase his attack, and I think we'll take Fast Hands. I think that gives us more healing. We've got things like Stim Kit boosting your maximum health, but it can be dangerous, kind of backfire. Nutrients is good, but that lets you re-roll healing dice, but until we get more, I think we'll just go for this one, number 2. Upping our healing ability. I probably want to increase my dexterity at some point. In fact, why don't we do that now? Let's increase our dexterity, leave our attack at 1. A day now passes, and we start back in the encounter phase. Encounter. We don't have choice here, okay? Suddenly, the path we're following stops abruptly at a large, hollowed out stump. You can see shiny objects sitting within, but you also spot the gear-triggered plate they are resting on. With a little luck and quick hands, we can grab and go. Choose a number between 1 and 6, roll a d6. If you roll above that number, draw total loot cards for your party equal to the number you chose. Oh wow, nice. If you tie or roll below that number, add the number you chose to your enemy point total for your next battle. Sweet, so this is like a little push your luck. So 3 loot. 3 gives me 50-50. Is that too greedy? Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Yes, we got a 6. Okay, we got 3 loots. And they go to the whole party, so that means we can choose who to give them to. We got infused incense. Roll 2 additional attack dice once during a battle. And we give that to Band-Aid. We've got a mechanical assistance. Increase your dex by 3 for 1 round. I'm going to give that to Boomer. And then E-cells, which is only usable by Band-Aid. Add 1 E-cell die to a hold slot or to your skill mat. Excellent. E-cell die. That's a number 12. Pretty sweet. And that means I've avoided those extra battle points, which are for this battle 2 times day 2, that's 4. So 4 points, that's 4 1 point enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we get. 4 enemies to face. I'm going to have to be doing some damage pretty quickly here. You'll notice in the next battle, when we're on day 3, it's going to be a 6, so we're going to get 2 enemies, a 5 and a 1. So we're going to see one of these stronger enemies for the first time. Before I roll for initiative, I'm going to invite you to, we're going to finish up here. If you want to see the rest of this game play out, join me in part 2. We'll roll for initiative and see how this battle works out. Meanwhile, I want to encourage you to go and check out the Kickstarter. This is a great fun little game, and every time you play you're going to have a different story. This is a very short deck of encounters, but in the real game, in the final production version, this is going to be a nice big thick deck to give you lots of different encounters, lots of variety, lots of decisions to make. Replayability has been one of the key elements they've concentrated on here, and I'm so impressed with everything that I see. I mean, the neoprene is always working well. It's part of their trademark, as are the chips. And with these new dice mechanic, okay, you've got to love dice. And there's always a thing of what can we do with a dice building game? Well, a dice building RPG, it's got to be a first. That's it. Join me in 2 for the extended gameplay. If not, just go check out the Kickstarter.